Tensura What If? Silver Timeline by CBCTEBAS Chapter 54 Multiverses Religion. Rimuru is seen walking through the corridor with 4 primordials. It has been 100 years since they started to look for potential subordinates for Arcana. At first, they have already made recommendations for a few positions. However, after they started to compare their recommendations, they focused on strengthening them. This would be because of Diablo's recommendation. They passed through a gate that Diablo suggested. It was supposed to be the place where Rimuru will meet them. And once they passed through it, they were inside a very grand throne room. The entire room is as large as a football stadium in size. It shows the wealth and power of the one who owns it. The decorations are all rare materials and jewelry that complement the size and design of the room. It was so spacious that tens of thousands could fit inside the room alone. Rimuru-sama, he turned to see Diablo, with an open palm gesture pointing at the throne. The seat was high up, giving a very divine and sacred atmosphere to it. He realized that this was for him, the entire setup was for him to be welcomed. Right, Rimuru walked up the 50-step stairs to reach the throne. He looked at the seat, his seat. It was made with special material that he read has some properties that gives of a calm and serene feeling, making sure to keep anyone who seats on it to be comfortable. Additionally, behind the throne was a large mural. It had a symbol of an eye in the space, which means the multiverse in it. It looked like a normal mural, but it was inscribed with complex magic that hinders anyone to look at it. They would only see a blur countering anyone that looks at it. It was purposely placed behind the throne to make sure anyone that looks at Rimuru will not be able to see his face, as it is stated in the faith that only those chosen are allowed to see and hear their Lord. Once he sat down and then leaned his head to his right fist that was placed on the arm of the throne. The 4 primordials all walked up the throne as well, however, they didn't go to Rimuru. Diablo and Testarossa were in the 35th step with both being on the side of Rimuru, and similarly, Ultima and Carrera were in the 25th step with them being farther side. Spread out that Rimuru was in the middle and they were below him. They would be in a type of triangle formation to anyone to see. Rimuru, Diablo, Testarossa, Ultima, Carrera. Once everyone was in place, Diablo nodded to the other primordials and called their recommendations. The door on the other side of the room opened. From there at least more than 100 individuals came. They were not the recommendations, they were the subordinates of the recommendation. They all need after arriving in their respective positions. The ones that were in the very forefront, the 4 individual all stood in front of their respective primordial. The order was from left to right: Carrera, Testarossa, Diablo, and Ultima. You may now speak and introduce yourselves in front of Rimuru-sama, Testarossa stated with a sharp glint in her eyes. They already had a talk about the procedures and what are the do's and don'ts inside. No one is allowed to move or speak without permission from either the cardinals, primordials, or Rimuru himself. The red-haired man stood up from his kneeling position. My name is Abbas, born from the Southern Cardinal. Universe Gema, Cluster R, Planet 4. I was a red lion, and have now turned into a finalis. We have sworn our loyalty to the Silver Faith and towards the Great Silver God. He had his arms in a fist being covered with his palm and a light bow. Candidate for the role of chariot. These are my men, 25 strong finalis. Abbas turned and faced his people. This being a sign, all of them bowed in a similar way from Abbas. Carrera-sama has given them the rank of A+, with me being a special A-rank individual. And with that Abbas the finalis finishes his introduction. A pride of former lion magical beasts? That's a unique one. Never thought Carrera would choose someone like that. I was sure she would choose someone that is capable of destructive magic. They are strong, not enough for the cardinal world, but very strong for the average universe. Next is the woman with light blue hair. She stood up from her kneeling position. She had a perfect posture and saluted with her right hand. Death, former human and currently archdemon. Universe Fuhai, Cluster A, Planet 2. Death spoke in a military-styled tone, complimenting her appearance and salute. Candidate for the role of devil. She dropped her salute and turned to her subordinates. After Ultima turned her into a demon, she started to train her subordinates to a much higher degree, that they are now the strongest unit of their entire universe. 100 strong soldiers, all of which are handpicked by me. They have been classified to be A- rank, And I am a special rank individual. We live to serve under the Silver Faith. All of them saluted in unison, finishing up their introduction. An archdemon? How did she become one? Hey Ultima, Rimuru contacted Ultima via thought communication. Yes, Rimuru-sama? How did she become a demon? Oh, I turned her into my dependent. She has a lot of potential, wasted by the restrictions of their world system. Well, I guess that is fine. I did plan on them working under the primordials. The old man next stood up, with his staff in hand. I am Merlin, a cambion, that was given the rank of Special A. It is an honor to be in your presence. Candidate for the role of magician. He gave a quick bow and gestures to the mages behind him. I and my 25 rank of students are offering up our eternal loyalty to our silver god. We came from Universe Rutar, Cluster E. Planet 39 from the Northern Cardinal. Use us as you please, my lord. They all bowed, though Merlin took a quick glance at Testarossa, who nodded her head. She was delighted by his introduction. Just this was enough to make Merlin happy for days to come. This Merlin's magicule count is high, not only that he's suppressing some of it. He must a talented mage that Testarossa scouted, or she taught him some magic herself. She is very good at complex magic after all. Ah, I guess, I am next. The old woman with her wooden staff spoke. My name is Terra. I would first like to thank your lordship's compassion. Compassion? Rimuru thought confused. Did I do something for her? I mean, isn't she one of those? What does she mean, Diablo? Kufufufu Rimuru-sama recalls the weather machine of Lilith Dono. In exchange for those and among other things, I managed to convince her to serve under you. These 10 are all my children, she gestures behind her. All 10 of her children have different appearances from each other. Some have a more winter theme with pale white skin and white hair, while others have the opposite and looks like one has flowing lava for hair. There are even ones that have small rocks orbiting around them like a planet with its moons while looking like their mother. As you might have already guessed, I am the Great Spirit of Earth. Well, to be specific, the incarnation of the Great Spirit of Earth after possessing a supreme star. And these 10 were birthed from my incarnation. She gave a pitiful smile from the words she plans to say next. I may be a great spirit, but I am the weakest. I am only an S-rank spirit right now. Most of my strength have been distributed to my children. Each of them are Special A. I am sure they will be useful to you and your cause. Candidate for the role of world. She still talks without much respect. I'm very sorry, Rimuru-sama. It's fine, it doesn't bother me. More like, I'm really surprised you convince her to join. Kufufufu, her children were all on the brink of dying one by one. The weather machine are their only lifeline. I have taken her children as hosta, as leverage against her. Leverage isn't less worse than the word hostage, you know. Well, good job anyway. Threatening and blackmail won't do good here. It would be better for them to be grateful on their own. I should do something about this later. Kufufufu, thank you very much, Rimuru-sama. Of course, the Great Spirit of Earth. Terra isn't actually here in her real body. Her real body is the place where Diablo visits her. This one is more of a small part of her that she planted her consciousness to. It works similar to the homunculi that Rimuru and the others have developed. In a similar manner, the children of Terra are also doing the exact same thing as their mother. Their real bodies are all planets that are of different sizes. They couldn't possibly move freely from one place to another. Rimuru-sama, as they have finished their introduction, please give us your verdict if you would allow them to be part of Arcana and be able to stand as your subordinate. Testarossa spoke as she looked at Rimuru. The people below could only see up to where Testarossa and Diablo are standing. Higher than that is simply a blur in their vision. They also would not be able to hear anything pass her, as the 4 cardinals, primordials, made sure that no one in the room can hear Rimuru beside them. They all seem very strong, they still have not reached their full potential. And even Terra, the Great Spirit, we might be able to help her recover some of her past strength if she continues to swear loyalty. Kufufufu, as expected of Rimuru-sama. I am happy to hear your compliment, my lord. I'll make sure to make them stronger and bring their potential out, Rimuru-sama. Testarossa bowed and turned to the people standing below. Rejoice! Rimuru-sama has accepted you all to be his subordinates. We will now conduct the fealty ceremony. Testarossa announced to them. Will you offer up your bodies for the betterment of the multiverse? Ultima questioned them with an innocent smile. Yes. Do you all swear in your life to serve under the Silver Faith? Diablo joined in asking. Yes. Do you all recognize Rimuru-sama, the Silver God, the Great Overseer, as your one and only Lord? Testarossa chimed in. Yes. Then all of you, Carrera spoke with a grin, in unison, recite the Silver Chant. Rimuru looked confused. The what? Yes, O Silver One, O Silver One. Listen to the pleas of your humble son, we humbly ask for sanctuary. Far away from what is scary, doors require proof of faith. For the guard's doubts be sad, faith is shown with silver blade. Offering up for silver shade, accept the silver in your soul. And let it fill your chests whole, to die serving for silver faith. Gates open and bliss awaits, accept the silver in your soul. Whom you worship most of all, silver clothes, silver hair. Silver cross for me to bear, wipe the blood from silver blade. The silver shines the path to take. Who made this? Kufufufu, all this did Rimuru-sama. Though I claim 66% of the words, the rest came from them. Diablo proudly smiled as he awaited Rimuru's praise. It's just, Rimuru was very speechless, and here I was waiting for this to finish, so I can ask these four what the pack is the Silver Faith. Silver God? Is that me? I'm not a god, what have you four been spreading without me knowing? Oh no, Rimuru made a realization. Luckily it didn't show in his face. Have they been doing this from the beginning? Have they been spreading this Silver Faith thing to all the universes? My head hurts. Well, for now let's just finish this. You're defeated if you overthink about it, just give up for now. Argentum Deus. The primordials shouted in unison, with their right hand in a closed fist touching their left shoulder, their arm positioned horizontally. Gloria. Argentum Deus. The people below put their feet together and straightened their backs and did the same salute, with their heads down. Yeah, let's wrap this up. Rimuru was done with everything and just wants this to be over. After a few more procedures and cheering, everyone was out of the throne room. With Rimuru sitting on the throne massaging his temple. Now, what exactly is Silver Faith? It is the name of the religion that Rimuru-sama is the patron god of, Diablo said matter-of-factly, like it wasn't a big deal that Silver Faith is basically the multiverse's main only religion. Why did you make it? Diablo looked a bit confused as he tilted his head to the side. Didn't Rimuru-sama wanted to spread his name? That's why you had us make them our subordinates to watch over the rest? The others nodded as well. I didn't mean it like that. Well. Rimuru sighed. I guess this is a convenient setup. I could have them follow me much easier than with forceful cooperation and threats. Incidentally, I'm surprised you all could manage to make entire universes accept this Silver Faith thing. How'd you manage to do that? Kufufufu, it was very simple, Rimuru-sama. Diablo smiled as he recalls. I conquer their worlds and then spread your words and laws. My words and laws? Rimuru-sama of the future. Diablo mentioned the Rimuru of the future, the one that he saw in Rimuru's fragmented memories. Yes, Diablo said all of your teachings from the future. It was very inspirational and moving. Most worlds quickly accepted the ideology. The other primordials chimed in and commented. Well, what type of words and laws did you spread specifically? We modify your words a bit, but the main concepts are still in. None shall harm each other, none shall discriminate. None shall feel hunger, none shall feel forlorn, whether sinful or virtuous, all are welcome if they worship the Silver God. Those are some simple rules, don't you think? I'm surprised they obeyed you all with that. Rimuru commented after hearing the main ideology of Silver Faith. Rimuru-sama underestimates the masses' desire for peace, while the people in charge may be fueled by greed. The masses simply want to survive in peace. The guarantee of safety alone drove millions to join. Not mentioning the no one shall ever feel hunger part, which basically majority wanted. But wouldn't giving free food have a negative effect on the people? Rimuru noticed a bit of flaw. People will go lazy if all of their things are free and provided. It wasn't part of the main ideology, but some other minor ones are also things like, those who don't work, don't eat, and everyone must contribute. If you don't follow all of this, then they will be stripped of their right as a follower and will be punished. How were you able to control the criminals and other kinds, if sinful ones are also welcome? The bloodthirsty ones, but are willing to accept the silver faith, are given subjugation or fighting jobs. Death Chan's entire unit is something like that. The 100 that was here earlier were only the top 100 of millions, Ultima pointed out. Incidentally, the rest are distributed among the 4 directions of the multiverse. Also, to point out Rimuru-sama. This laws only apply to believers and followers of the Silver Faith. Those who aren't a part, or are trying to fight us, are to be slaughtered quickly. Testarossa explained with a smile on her face. I see. That's why it was easy to accept this religion. It was to save their lives. I mean, guaranteed safety and food if you work. Corruption will not appear because of these 4. And if you don't join, you don't have rights and die, from the bloodthirsty soldiers. The peaceful ones get safety, and the warmongers get their brutality. And with that, Rimuru had to sit for another 5 hours of the entire mechanics and system of the religion he didn't know he had. Time passed by fast, the event that a lot of them have waited for is finally happening. Rimuru-sama. Are you two ready? The 2 nodded their heads. They have been preparing for a millennia. Rimuru opened a gate, and from inside fire spirits and water spirits flowed everywhere. Let's have you 2 get your revenge. The day when Agni and Runa finally have their rematch with the great spirit of fire and water is finally here.